Welcome to Empty Cans Podcast.
My name is Mark,
And I'm Tom.
and today we have another episode special for everybody. Today we have Side House Brewing with us. We have Joe and Tate with us, and we did something a little bit different. Joe and Tate were the very first ones to actually pre-funk with us before a podcast.
Yeah.
So I thought we might miss some good shit. So I actually brought a microphone and recorded a bunch of shit while we were sitting there just kind of BSing. So we're going to play that for you real quick so everybody out there can get caught up to where we're at right now. Okay, now that everybody's caught up, here we are. Joe and Tate, Side House Brewing. More so Joe than I would say Tate, right?
Yeah.
Is Tate
Tate's-
your apprentice?
No, Tate is my nephew, and he lives in another state, so it would be kind of far to join me on brew day on the weekend,
Right.
a couple
Yeah.
times a month.
Yep, I just love good beer and like to learn. So
There you go.
Very good. So today, what are we drinking today? Joe actually brought us some beers from Utah, believe it or not. What is this beer that you brought us, Joe?
Fuckafino. It's from Red Rock out of Salt Lake. It's a double hazy IPA. It was originally set up as a April Fool's joke a few years ago, and then a year ago they finally released it to the public, and it's been a hit ever since. They can hardly keep it on the shelf. It's an easy drinking hazy double hazy. Yeah, it's a really good beer.
So this one clocks in at 9%. So that is a big one. Let's
Stick us
let's
up.
try it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It doesn't taste like 9%.
Nope.
Very smooth.
That is very smooth, actually. Big peach notes I'm getting.
Yeah, super peachy.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, Red Rock's doing really well with the hazies. I know they did some stuff as like test batches, but those hazies have really stuck with them. They do the standard, ambers and lagers and pilsners, imperial stouts and double IPAs, pale ales, but the hazies have really hung on for the last 3 or 4 years.
I can't quite identify the hops in this. Boy, it's something different.
It is different, for sure.
Wow. And these guys are out of Salt Lake?
Yeah, Salt Lake, and they've got some satellite ones, pubs.
Okay.
So they do their beer store is where they brew, and then the main restaurant downtown they also brew there too. But this is the main production facility is the beer store. So they brew out of there, and then you can go there and pick up cans and bottles and stuff like that too, or
Wow.
swag, T-shirts, glassware, things like that.
Yeah.
You can also do that out of the restaurant as well. The restaurant has more variety because they do like batches that they can only serve on tap.
Okay.
Because of the alcohol laws there.
Right.
5% or below they can have on tap,
Yeah.
And then if you want to buy bottles or if you want something stronger at the bar or your dinner table, they'll bring the bottle to you and pour it in a glass. They can't just have it on tap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the restrictions in Utah.
That just sounds fucked up.
Yeah. No. It was weird the first time I went to Utah and visited some family, and I was like, what do you mean you don't have anything stronger than 4.5% in the stores? What the fuck? And then, you gotta go to a liquor store for that. I'm like, oh shit, liquor store, that's weird.
So I lived a little bit in Wyoming, and there, when you go to the convenience store, they don't have beer in the convenience store. It's all sold in the liquor store.
Yeah, okay.
And they've got a good sour program.
Mhm.
Their stuff's pretty good.
Do they do kettle sours, do you know, or are they
I don't.
more traditional?
Yeah, I think they do a lot of Berliner Weiss type
Mhm.
stuff, and that's from the restaurant. You'll see that more often
Yeah,
than in a can or bottle.
yeah.
They do like the higher percent range. They'll do in bottles, and they'll
Okay.
sell wherever it is, liquor store or the restaurant. They do a lot of like gozas, variations of gozas. And those things are so amazing, man.
Really?
I love their Goza program. Yeah.
Really?
I don't think I've had one that I've liked.
I don't even know if I've tried one.
I think I've tried a couple. Usually not too brave to venture out. One interesting thing, I was at Brewers Haven a couple weeks ago, and just to go see what they had, and they had a bottle of some kind of stout. It was like sitting on by the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a wild guess how much that bottle was?
24.
$24?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
75.
Oh, shit. Fucking
What was it?
It was some kind of double stout, barrel aged something or other. I don't even
Wow.
remember. I should take a picture of it. I was like $75. Who the fuck is gonna pay for that? It was nuts.
Yeah, so it's not giving me any in-depth information other than flavor profiles and aromas and packaging contents, as far as volumes
Oh.
and then percentages. That's it.
Okay, Red Rock. Keep your secrets. It's all right.
Some of them they'll put on there, but some of them they don't.
So do they, I guess they don't go in stores down there, but do you know if they distribute up here in Idaho?
I haven't seen Red Rock.
I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen them either. Yeah.
Not to say that they don't distribute to other states.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen anything. And there's other places in Salt Lake, Uinta, I see them here.
Yeah.
I think Moab, I think I've
I've seen
seen
Moab
them
before, yeah.
in a few random spots here in Boise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we gotta actually, I think that's one of, so yeah, we were gonna get into that later, but let's go ahead and get into it now. What kind of beer do they have down there? I mean, breweries, it's Utah, so obviously they gotta do a lot more shit than we do up here in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for those of you who don't know Joe and Tate, Joe, you are from?
I'm originally from California.
Okay.
And then I'm a welder fabricator by trade. So I've traveled Texas, mostly in California. Here in Idaho, I worked maybe 14 years ago. Yeah, about 14, 15 years ago. Moved
Here
back.
in Boise?
Yeah, went back to Cali and then went to Texas. And then we ended up in Utah in a nutshell. And that was all about 16 years.
Well,
Total.
Oh yeah.
okay.
Extensive.
So what about you, Tate?
Well, I'm originally from California as well, but from very young age moved up here to Boise. Lived in Nampa a lot of my life, so I've been here ever since.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so Tom, you're also from out of state, so
Well, yeah. I was born in Texas,
Only-
but I've been here since '92. So
only true native is right. That's right. But anyway, yeah, thanks for coming up. Thanks for making the trek with us. For those of you who don't know, Joe is a home brewer down in Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
Which if you're on Instagram, something, look up Side House Brewing, and you'll actually kind of see that he's, I guess, a little bit more than just a home brewer.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'd almost say semi-pro, if not pro, but
we
hasn't
can-
made that next step
We
yet.
can only try, and I do take those necessary steps like what pros do as far as mineralization and those practices that are absolutely necessary to make great beer.
Right.
I've
seen your shit. I mean, you're pro level.
I take pride in it. I spend a lot of money on my equipment
Yeah.
and the time and research that I've done. Haven't exhausted that yet, but because there's always something new that's happening, or a technique that I haven't done yet, or hot product that I need to try out to see if it works for my style. Or
Sure.
I'm always learning, and that's what betters us as anybody.
So, just quick question: what does being in Utah hurt your home brewing, or does it help? Or
No, there's
No
a
difference.
huge community of home brewers there,
nice.
and a lot of them also work with some of the pros there. Sometimes I guess some of them are friends. You could say rather, but yeah, huge community. I talked to a few of the guys on Instagram. I've met a few of them. I talked to some of the pros there too. Just to pick their brain a little bit, and just to show that appreciation
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But yeah, there's a couple homebrew shops there, and they're well stocked. If they don't have what I want, then I order it online or pick it up direct or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, been homebrewing for 12 years now. Going on, yeah, February was 12 years. It seems like each year or every other year, I'm upgrading some sort of equipment and then fine tuning that process so that it's easier for me in the end, as far as temperature control and things like that. But I think I'm at that point now where I don't have to do anything. Now it's just a matter of adapting to that better and then finding those new techniques.
Sure.
And then doing that. I do stick to a very basic or simple schedule as far as my process goes, but like on the fermentation side, I'll switch something up as far as, it depends on what I'm brewing too. Then, either using spunding valves or carbonating in the tank, which is a new thing now for me for the last few years, where I can package direct into cans or to a keg, direct from the tank, what the pros do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Tom, since Joe broke the seal, do you want to talk about the heat temperature control?
Yeah.
Because I know you're itching to bring that up.
I was.
You do it all the
That's,
time.
I think the number one thing that I would suggest to any home brewer, and to each their own, because if you have a mini fridge and you're able to make that thing work as a fermentation chamber, that will work as well. But there are other things involved with controlling that at a lower temperature. When the beer's done fermenting, you want to crash it, you want to carb it, and sometimes that's hard to do in a carboy, And I've been there and I've tried to do that stuff, and we all know, whoever's listening knows what that's about. We're at the mercy of whether you have equipment or you don't.
I'm at the mercy of the temperature in my closet.
Yeah.
Been telling him for years, temperature control.
And I had to do it because I ferment in Spike Brewing's Conicals. And just a few years after that, I received a pretty hefty bonus. And then I knew that's what I needed, because I was trying to make the move to where I was 100% in the garage rather than 60-40 or 75-25, whatever the ratio was for, brewing 100% outside or almost 100% outside, and then now I got to lug everything in the damn house to
Right.
where it would be somewhat cool. So I just went for it and bought a SS Brewtech glycol chiller. And that was a complete game changer, like 100% hands down, man. It made that just the process that much easier,
I bet.
to properly ferment at that given temperature for whatever style, and then to properly crash, get rid of your, the cone, dump all the yeast and trub and stuff, and then carbonate
Right.
in that same vessel, and that's like just mind blowing, man.
Yeah.
It's
Carbonating in the same vessel, that's just way beyond my time.
Right.
I mean, that's like fucking future.
If you had a lot of money, you could do it.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. Well, my wife will not let me spend that kind of money on beer.
Right.
And, even when I was brewing beer, I was like super hillbilly. And I think I made my own 3-tiered system out of some 2x4s and shit that I had left over in the garage. And then my sparge, I made this shit out of PEX pipe and hooked it up to my hot liquor tank, and I'm just totally ghetto. But it worked. It got the job done. I made some okay beers, some bad ones, but some okay ones. But then it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, either you got two choices. Either you need to up your game if you want to make some good shit, or
Right.
you just need to give it up and keep spending your money on this expensive shit now.
and just because one has the necessary tools doesn't mean that you're going to get, you know, it's trial and error like anything else. You either, I mean, I get rid of batches all the time not because it's infected or something's wrong with it as on the negative side, but I think most of the time it's because I'm not happy with it. I'll share it and then I'll get rid of it because I'm not happy with it. And I don't want people to experience what, you know, with the few that have our beers, that I just don't want to go further with it. So I'll get rid of a whole batch, whether it be 10 gallons or the 5 gallons, you know.
Yeah.
It's not good to do that, you know what I mean? If I'm not happy with, some people will like it, you know, and I'm not saying that it's horrible. It's just sometimes I just go into this thing where I'm trying to experiment with whether it be yeast strain, hop varieties, or a specific grain bill, and then it usually ends up being the grain bill that I'm not happy with. But I don't go overboard because, you know, I've learned over the years that things need to be used sparingly, and I've always kept that at bay. But just sometimes it doesn't work out, those combinations, whether it be grain and then it's clashing with the yeast strain or something, and then it's good, but then I get tired of it and I don't want to deal with it anymore. So
Yeah.
Right.
it is what it is. Pros do the same thing too, man. I hear those guys dump barrels, you know,
It's
and
crazy.
yeah,
You know, I
it's
think
the name of the game.
the last batch I did ended up being overcarbonated. I have to bottle my own shit because I'm too cheap to buy a couple of kegs and turn my refrigerator into a kegerator. But the last batch I made, I think I spent at least $100 on, and like I said, it didn't turn out very good, overcarbonated, and I will not throw that shit away. I mean, I don't drink it, but yeah, I don't throw it away because it's like, it's a waste. I hate to waste it, but yet it's still sitting in my fridge from a year ago. So, yeah, I have a hard time just throwing shit away just to throw it away. But I'm also hillbilly, so I mean,
We're all a
you're
little bit
semi-pro,
hillbilly.
so-
No, we're all a little bit hillbilly.
Joe, do you have like a favorite style you like to brew?
Pretty much anything hoppy.
Yeah.
I'm a huge porter fan too. I'm the purist side of that. I like stouts. I'll drink them, but I've never brewed one, and not because I don't like them. It's just that I think that style is not overrated, but a lot of people brew it, and I don't ever see anybody talk about brewing porters, and maybe they do, but that was one of the styles that were first available, you know.
Yeah.
And so I like to keep for myself those traditions, using those classic grains. And then, but yeah, anything hoppy, roasty. I do gravitate towards rye pale ales a lot. I love rye malt. It's just one of those things that just delivers something different to the beer rather than using Munich or crystal malts or anything like that. I've gone away from crystal malts unless I'm brewing something dark.
I don't think I've ever had a rye malt beer. I've never had rye. I've never brewed with rye. I don't even know what the fuck it tastes like.
There's
Rye whiskey I'm
this,
familiar with, but
they say that it's spicy and like an earth type spice, but I don't get those notes out of that, and a lot of people do talk about that too. Rye is grainy, it's dry, it's malty, it's earthy, big earth tones to it. I never get anything spicy out of, and I don't know where those descriptors are coming from. I think it's a lot of people associate those flavors from rye bread, because some beers in the past, they would brew rye beers with caraway seed. If you're competing, they specifically tell you do not use caraway seed in your rye beer. You know, that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
okay.
But I think that's where people are getting those things confused.
I think it's interesting too, though, because some of that spiciness you talk about that people attribute to those beers, could that be the yeast though as well?
That and then or specific hop
Yeah.
varieties. You know, noble varieties or some of the Pacific Northwest classic styles, that contribute those herbal spice notes, I think some of that is involved there,
Yeah.
but I'm not from the grain. I've never got that. I've made teas with it to try to pull things out, and I don't get that. I think
Interesting.
that's more psychological than anything else.
So how often do you brew? A week, a day, a month?
I try to get a few batches in a month, but work schedule, home life, that gets in the way. I usually have everything on hand unless I need a specific yeast strain, and then I'll go buy that for that weekend, whatever I do. But hops, grain, I have all that available. And then water. I run to the store and get RO water and then build up from that. But that doesn't take very long. Usually once a month, but I usually brew 20 gallons when I do that, so I can fill both tanks.
Right.
Whether it be 2 separate beers or I'm double batching. Sometimes it's longer, a few months. The last time I brewed was early February, late February.
Oh my goodness.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go through it every day.
So
Yeah.
this next weekend, Belgian Porter going in, and then the week after Hazy Pale,
Oh, nice.
For a specific purpose
No.
or just for fun?
just to get it done.
Okay. And
Right? I've got all the stuff, might as well use it up.
so that's quite a bit of beer. Do you drink all that beer yourself?
You share it with family or dudes I work with, mail it to home, your friends in California.
Oh, okay.
Now mail some to you guys as well.
Yeah.
Right?
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
I know you guys love the Belgian styles.
I'll drink
I'm
it.
gonna try it.
I'll drink it.
I don't know.
There's something about a dark Belgian beer, a side of quads. They're not in that stout or porter area, but there's just something about dark grain and Belgian yeast.
So
I
I'm
love it.
yeah, I'm all for trying anything. And at this point, everything I've tried, I think has been really good. I mean,
When you
the-
branched out, you're talking about.
right?
Yeah.
Because new year, new me, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I'm gonna try different kinds of beers. I'm not gonna just focus on the IPAs. I'm gonna branch out. So then, shit, I'm having double stack.
Yeah.
That was a great stout.
It was really good.
What else have I done this year?
We did the golden
Brown Beard
Brown
gave us
Beard.
the Beard Labruski.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That's a golden,
The Russian.
or no, not the
not the
White Russian.
White Russian. Yeah.
White Russian golden.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. So far, everything I've tried has been really good. So, not a bad idea. Branch out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I did bring some other stuff, but I wasn't sure because I know you guys are more than willing to try whatever, but
Yeah.
I chose the IPAs that I brought today for you guys.
No, those are
I know you
fantastic.
guys love those, and it's
Yeah.
easier to get involved with.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Seems like it's a good time to be a new brewer, either home or selling, commercially, because a lot of people want new flavors. So
Yeah.
like it's almost a guaranteed that you're going to sell some.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hatfield.
It's interesting too. Over the last 10 years, people's palates have changed. Where in the past, people were like, "I don't like dark beers because they're bitter,"
Yeah.
or "I don't like hoppy beers because they're bitter." But now all these people are just coming out of the
yeah.
woodwork.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this flavor, man. Well, just get crazy
Remember,
with it.
I remember trying an IPA for the first time and hating it.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, me
But-
too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you age, your palate
Hat-
changes and stuff like
Hatfield.
that.
No,
so.
it does.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Imprint.
You mind if I see that after you, Joe?
yeah. That's a fucking rad can too.
Yeah.
That's
Black
really
and
cool.
green
Yeah.
label.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like classic horror flick, zombie Halloween bullshit. Rob Zombie type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or what do they call it? Rat Fink type artwork.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
All right. So since you guys shared a beer with us, I'm going to share a beer with you. This is one I picked up down in Las Vegas. Really good beer. I got it out of the Beer Zombies cooler. This one's actually from Pennsylvania. This is a triple dry hopped, and we got Joe on the case to check it out, see exactly what it is, because there's not a lot of information on the can there.
No, they're really not.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very unique.
Really like that a lot.
Well, I don't even know what to think of that. It's light.
It doesn't smell like it's gonna be light, and then you drink it, and it's like
Right.
it's really smooth.
I'm afraid to even know what the ABVs is on this one. It has a 3 cubed up in the.
I saw that.
Does that just mean triple?
I think it's
triple
just
dry
a
hop?
triple dry hop.
Triple IPA. So if it's a triple IPA, it's going to be a big one.
Okay, so it's
Oh fuck! Here we go.
hazy triple IPA 9.9.
Damn.
Okay.
Let's see here. Citra, Mosaic, and Amarillo dry hop.
Okay.
Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really say much more after that.
No, that's really good.
And that's from their Instagram.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that can too.
I guess we need to make another Vegas run. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing it. It's really good.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
It's definitely
Lighter on the fruit. It seems more,
Uh-huh.
more
Yeah.
citrusy than anything else, as opposed to the Red Rock
Right.
we
right.
had prior to that.
definitely doesn't taste like a 9.9.
No,
No.
it doesn't taste like 9.9. And the last few that we've had have been really good for a big beer like that.
Yeah, that last one we shared with Bryce,
Yeah, that was a big one.
that was 11%, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it could have been from the same people too.
No, that was 450 North.
Oh, that was Iowa.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's the company that does a lot of those damn
Smoothies.
slushy
Slushies.
smoothie
Yeah.
beers, man. Those things are
They're
wild.
crazy.
Yeah.
The smoothie slushy beers, yeah.
Yeah, the one we had though was.
That was a
really
triple IPA too,
Yeah.
but it was hazy. It was good.
All right, we're just in here just swapping beers and
That's
and
what it's
drinking.
all about, man.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but from day one, I just want everybody to taste what I'm drinking. So I share it. My brother, I don't know, for some reason it bugs the shit out of him, and he thinks he needs to pay me for everything I give him. I'm like, no, you don't
Yeah.
pay me. I'm just here. Try it.
Yeah.
You might like it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. I did that with All Day Drinker Mike,
Yeah.
and now he's a little less PBR and a little bit more good beer, so that's good. But yeah, I'm all about sharing beers. So
Well, he's the one that turned us on to Bell's, right? Two
right,
Hearted, right?
yep, Bell's Two Hearted,
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
which
it's pretty good.
yeah, Two Hearted is not bad at all. And they just started bringing in that shit in this area.
In cans, yeah.
Have you ever had Bell's Two Hearted?
Yes.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, it was just recently that a distributor brought it in, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's everywhere.
Yeah, Fred Meyer's got it. They have the variety pack of all their IPAs.
Nice.
They have a double, experimental, the regular two-hearted, and a hazy.
Nice.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
Well, before we go any further, I'd like to say thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for-
I appreciate your guys'
no worries.
invitation.
Yeah.
When me and Preston came out to pick hops at
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gooding Farms.
So yeah, let's back up. Let's tell the story of when we met.
Yeah.
You hit us up on Instagram. It says, "Hey, you guys, hey, let's meet up. I'm going to be in town."
Yeah.
You were actually doing some hop picking.
Yeah, so I reached out to Diane at Gooding Hop Farms and always wanted to do that, since early on in the homebrew adventure, and finally got the chance.
Did you hand pick them yourself, or did
Yeah,
you just,
yes. So she sent me pins to the varieties on their farm that we were mostly interested in, and then so we drove to that location, which were Chinook and Citra. So
Okay,
we picked
okay.
Chinook first, which filled up a couple small garbage bags, and then drove to Citra and did the same thing.
Not too many people brew a Chinook anymore.
Oh, I
It's,
do.
it's one of them classic
And
hops.
shame
which
on them.
I
You don't see it very often.
back in the day, that was like one of the main staples. Every recipe had to have Chinook in it.
I think
and
it's
Simcoe and
Yeah, I think it's coming back because there's a demand for I think people's palates have shifted a little bit as far as
Yeah.
those classic flavors. And Chinook is big pine. You know, it depends on where you get it from. I get some out of Oregon sometimes, and they're very piney. And then I get some out of Washington, and they're a mixture of citrus and pine, which are really good. And so, yeah, I think it's making its way back. I've been noticing people's listing their hop varieties on cans and on their website or whatever it is, and it just seems like Chinook's making its way back.
Yeah, I think that Gooding Farms is kind of on our list of people that we'd like to really talk to. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had Mill 95 on there. Unfortunately, when I reached back out to them,
Actually got to meet up with those guys several years back when they were allowing the public to buy from them, and picked up some Centennial and Comet hop hash
Oh, nice.
from them. Yeah.
yeah, it was Corey Marshall.
Oh, that's right. Cool.
We had that set up with Corey, and at the time he also did the he had a YouTube.
That's so good.
Of Boneyard.
Yeah.
Good.
Boneyard Brewing is good beer.
I think it's
Yeah.
classic.
Man, I need to get some
Straightforward
before,
IPA, right?
Yeah.
before I get gone. I may have enough room in my ice chest for a 6-pack. I don't know. I have to see, because I probably bought out as much shit as I can possibly bootleg back home.
It's hard not to.
Am I
Yeah,
supposed to
it
say
is.
that?
Oh yeah.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
I've got the good
You're not
stuff.
selling it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No, doesn't Costco carry that in the case? Boneyard, IPM or RPM.
RPM. I didn't
Yeah.
see that at Costco when I was there last night, but
The one down there.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure they have Boneyard in the case.
Here in Boise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to
If you have room.
reach out.
Might have to get a roof rack or something.
Babe,
Get all the beer.
we're going to need to stop and get a roof rack installed.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Why?
Right,
I got a pallet of beer I got to get.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's really cool. So you went and picked your hops, and then actually, did you pick your hops before or after you met with us?
it was after.
After.
It was the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next morning. And then, so we headed out there, I don't know, it was around 10 or something like that, met up with Diane, and then she gave us a tour of the facility.
That's cool.
And they were actually picking and harvesting and drying Amarillo while we were there. That was in like full run, which is amazing. That hop
That
smells
so
oh,
good.
it was,
Yeah.
Oh my
it was
God.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so we did that, and then she gave us the location to where Chinook and Citra was. So we did that for about an hour or so, and then went back to meet up with her again. And then she gave us some plug samples of Idaho Gem straight out of the bale, and
Oh,
then
nice.
gave us a couple small bags of freshly dried Simcoe, which was Simcoe is my
Yeah.
favorite hop.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's the best of all worlds as far as aromas and profiles and
That's a
things
lot
like
of-
that.
A lot of pallet jack is Simcoe.
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, then we did that, and then after that, she handed us a bunch of swag. Both my nephews, Tate and Anthony, they went out there with me and Preston.
Still have the drone footage of you picking those hops.
Yeah.
Oh,
actually.
nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
My
Very
brother-in-law
beautiful.
Preston, he joined us as well, and so then after that we just drove straight home, and then I had everything set up and ready at home, kettles full of water or kettle full of water, and then mashed in, brewed beer, and then went for it.
So do you grow hops at home?
No, I've moved around so much. I did at a house we had in California. We were there for, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. And then shortly moving into that house, I decided I wanted to grow hops. Did Cascade, Centennial, and Chinook.
I think at my old place I had Centennial and Crystal.
Yeah,
And
Crystal's an amazing hop. It's very underrated.
yeah, that yeah, Crystal's the one that I decided to do a fresh hop batch. I brewed a fresh hop batch of Crystal, a little bit of Centennial in there, but I used Crystal in the dry hop.
Mm-hmm.
So I just picked it off the vine and then threw it into my into my dry hop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that turn out?
Didn't turn out.
Tell them the story, Mark.
So a weekend I always
I can only imagine.
a weekend I always have to try the beer to see, because when you bottle it they say 2 weeks. So a weekend I try it, and I kind of made that a habit, because it really the flavor profile changes quite a bit from week to week. So that first week I tried it, I think everybody else was in bed, and I pop open a bottle and I'm drinking it, and I'm like, okay, not so bad, watching TV, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I don't feel so good. Run into the kitchen, threw up everywhere. I'm like, well, that was weird. And then the week later, I'm like, okay, beer's ready to go. Let's drink some. So I kind of the same thing. It was kind of late at night, and I popped it and drank it. I'm like, okay, yeah, it changed a little bit, but still pretty good. And then a little bit later, it's like, oh shit, that wasn't too good. Bam! Ran to the kitchen, threw up all over the place again. It's like, maybe that wasn't the best idea to throw that in the dry hop, because all that fucking bacteria all over those hops got
And
into
who knows
my.
what wild yeasts are
Right,
on that from
exactly.
surrounding trees and bushes
Oh,
and
yeah.
things, and
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
So that one I did voluntarily throw it out. A friend of mine said, "Oh no, I would have drank it." It's like no,
not after my experience.
Right. So yeah, definitely lesson learned. I won't do that again. But yeah, other than that, it was good. Those hops grew like fucking crazy, and I rarely did anything to them. They were kind of on the sunny side of the house, and every once in a while I go over there and throw some water on them.
Yeah, that's a very hardy plant.
Oh my word! Right before we left, I pulled them out, and because we were gonna move, I pulled them out, and like a week later, I see them starting to sprout up again. It's like,
Yeah, if you don't get everything out of
Yeah.
there, man,
Oh,
even the smallest root, those
right.
those nubs will come back out.
Yeah, I thought I had gotten everything out, but they started growing up again. I'm like, all right, your problem. I'm out.
See you later.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's like almost invasive.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Very much so. Yeah, you don't really see a lot of those big, bold, classic IPAs like that anymore.
No,
It's
it's
kinda sad.
It's rare. Either they're keeping them to themselves, or in that general vicinity
Right.
of where they're at, and maybe distribute a little bit. But in my experience, trying to hunt down the perfect West Coast IPA is hard,
It is hard.
because there's a lot of new companies, and they don't go into it straight like, oh, we're gonna make West Coast IPA. That's a fucking hard beer to make, man.
Right, and I would
It
also
really is.
argue, because Revision's been doing it, they've kind of flipped the script on, they call it a West Coast IPA, but it's more aromatic and light. It's not so bitter. And it's good.
So many variations of that style too.
Right.
Where they're not as classic, where
Right.
they are bitter.
Right.
That they've backed off of that, because
Yeah.
people's palates are now geared towards like the hazy versions, where they're not as bitter and they're more aromatic.
Right.
So they're designing West Coast styles that same way.
Yeah.
They're just fucking clear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because I feel like, when hazies first came out, it was supposed to be like this big fad, and it's not gone away.
No.
Like, it's here to stay.
Most of the entire Eastern board, if not all of it, is hazy.
Right.
And we got to thank, the name of escapes, the Alchemist,
Oh yeah.
the OGs of hazy,
Mm-hmm.
and they do an amazing job, man. If you get a hold of those beers, they're just hands down and you could tell where it has gone from there, from what other people do now in the industry, and what they do is like next to none.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had anything from the Alchemist?
I have not.
No.
Okay.
One thing on my bucket list is Treehouse. I do want to try some Treehouse.
Yes, I got to do that as well. And I'm actually reluctant in telling my wife that I'm planning that I want to plan a beer trip and go to the Eastern Board.
Yes.
I want to do Treehouse. I want to do Trillium.
Trillium, yeah.
I've had Trillium. It's really good. I've never had Treehouse. And then there's a bunch of other companies in that whole area, dude.
So a couple of years ago, probably maybe 4 years ago or so, Sierra Nevada came out with this like Beers of the World thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a Treehouse collab in there, and I was like so fucking excited. And
Was that their tour?
the World Beer Tour, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, they took their bus around the U.S.
Yeah.
and collab with a bunch of
Yeah.
breweries. Yeah.
So I bought it. It was at the co-op. I bought it because I was like, I don't care how much it costs. I probably won't drink half these beers in here anyways. But I wanted to try that Treehouse. But I was so disappointed because it wasn't a hazy. It was like a just straight up West Coast IPA. I was like, fuck.
Well, Sierra Nevada took over that.
Oh yeah,
right off the bat,
for sure.
because they've got that.
Yeah.
They've got their foot down.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't mess.
I
With,
was
you
so
can't mess with Ken
disappointed.
Grossman. Man.
I know.
He's not going to let you do that.
I know. I was so disappointed. Though. I was like, damn. It's like this is my one chance to get a Treehouse beer
Right? Yeah.
without going to the East Coast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, but anyways, that is on my bucket
And I don't
list.
think they do any
They don't do any distribution.
clear. No. They don't do like.
Oh, yeah.
And they may do some like clear other styles, but their IPA thing, I've looked
I
at their
don't think there are.
list, and they're all about 100%, almost, if not all of it.
Yeah, they're
Everything
all
else other
hazies,
than
yeah.
dark beers, and Belgian styles or whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
is hazy.
But that was one thing I read too is that they don't distribute either. So they can,
No.
but they don't distribute.
And maybe in their local area,
Maybe,
that's
yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
Because they have a truck line
Mhm.
that they run in and out of there, so it's going somewhere, either
Yeah.
to restaurants or
Right.
bars or whatever the hell's going
Yeah,
on
that's
over
too
there.
bad.
Unless you know somebody on the East Coast, send me a flat, bro.
I do know somebody.
You know how expensive
You
that
know
would be?
somebody on the East Coast?
My old neighbor went to Virginia.
Gotta hit him up.
Fuck, it's been a long time since I talked to
well,
him.
never mind then. Maybe not.
Okay.
We're gonna make a trip.
We can make a trip and write it off as a podcast.
You know what we should do?
I'll
We
hold your guys' course.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. we
Part of the
should
crew.
we should have a year-end meeting.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
So, Joe, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Shoot.
how is the beer scene in Utah? Like, is it pretty close-knit community like it is here in Idaho? Because I know, like, everybody that we've talked to, everybody's, like, super friendly. They want to help each other out. They share, all that kind of stuff. Just curious if it's kind of that same way in Utah.
Same vibe.
Nice.
Everybody seems to know everybody, meet up and support new companies that are opening. And it's very tight-knit community. And whether they're brewing together or collabing together or hanging out and just drinking their other people's beers, to support that.
Right.
But yeah, it's a huge community there.
So, if you were to make a guess, how many breweries are in Utah or Salt Lake or
Oh, geez,
near
man.
you? A lot?
Yeah, there's not as much as Boise. I could be wrong, but I don't know that number.
But are they
Red
good?
Rock, Templin, Moab's down south,
Isn't there like a salt fire or something?
Salt Fire.
I think I've seen that once or
Shades,
twice.
Shades. I've seen-
Two-Row,
Lagunitas.
Bohemia.
No, that's
No,
California.
no,
Yeah,
it's not.
Sorry.
Bohemia. That's a German-style restaurant
Oh, wow.
type brewery.
Uinta. That's what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Templin, Kevin, he's the owner and head brewer or brewmaster there at Templin Brewing, Templin Family Brewing. I think they're in there now. This was their going into their fifth year, I think. Yeah, and his approach is German-style beers.
Okay.
They're German descent, so he travels to Germany quite a bit.
Wow.
Lager program is next to none, man. Like fucking stellar.
Wow.
The most amazing lagers that I've had from other breweries that are just as well. But this dude is like massive. I think the biggest thing for me, the takeaway from his approach of brewing is that so new into him brewing on his own, that he's collabed with a bunch of people and big names already. They reach out, man. They're like, this dude knows his lager game. Let's get a hold of him.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool.
So, and then their sour program is really good. He does a lot of flavored Berliner Weiss styles, and then mostly fruited styles. He doesn't do a straight Berliner. He does barrel. He's got a big barrel program. Their hazy editions are fucking amazing as hell. Like, stouts are good. Barrel aged stouts are good. Like, the whole thing is like.
So if you want a tap house down there, do you have to have a restaurant? I mean, is that they go hand in hand or what?
No, you don't have to have a restaurant. You can open straight brewery, and that's what Templin is.
And people can come in and just
Yeah,
sit at a bar
they can
and
bring their food, or they'll offer snacks. You know, but their thing is like you've got to, when you order your second beer or drink or whatever it is, you've got to have some food.
Okay.
Whether it be like on their small item list or whatever, you know, peanuts or pretzels or fries or fucking something.
Give me one
like
chip, please.
Yeah. And you can't order two at the same time.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can't do that. It's one at a time. If I remember correctly, you can't have a mixed drink or a shot of whiskey with your beer at the same time. You got to do one or the other first.
Wow.
Yeah. So rules there are kind of weird,
Yeah, a little
but no,
different.
there's a number of companies there that are great, and it's good time. And
But
so-
it didn't stop you from drinking good beer.
no,
So that's good.
Yeah.
This is going to wrap up part 1 of our conversation with Tate and Joe from Side House Brewing. Be sure to tune in to part 2.